Are you a new personal trainer who's currently doing a lot of really dumb shit? Well, I've got you beat. So here are the 7 dumbest things I've done and how you can avoid all of that shit. All right, folks, so here's the deal. I've done some pretty stupid shit in my life. I've been arrested. I've gotten fired from jobs after showing up hungover. I've decided to shoot YouTube videos with my nose looking like I shoved it up a porcupine's ass. These are some really dumb things that I've done and continue to do. But I've also made some really dumb mistakes as a trainer. And a lot of them were made in good faith. They were me trying to do the best job I could or do the best job I thought I was doing at the time. But they ended up being pretty dumb. So, what I'd like to do today is share those dumb things with you, make sure you're not doing them, and hopefully give you a little bit of guidance along the way to give you some better ideas and better ways to become a better trainer for yourself. Number 1, every warm up with every client I used to do was different. And most of the time, this just had to do with how bored I was that day and entertaining myself. Because at the end of the day, every client does not need a different warm up. Your warm ups can be standardized. And this just comes from trainer insecurity, you thinking that your client is expecting the best warm up you've ever given them every single session. And it's just horseshit and it's going to drive you crazy. So what do you do about this? Each client you have should get pretty much the same warm. Now, there's going to be slight differences between people to people based on, their injury history, what they're dealing with at that moment, what their current goals are, but it should pretty much be the same. You're going to get them on the air bike, like we've mentioned, get their heart rate elevated, get them down on the ground, do some positional breathing drills, get moving a little bit, throw some medicine balls, jump on some boxes, get their heart rate up again, get the nervous system going, and then go into it. That should pretty much be your warm-up for every client, every session, with minor tweaks along the way. You're going to save yourself a giant headache if you don't make this mistake. Number 2, I am so old and I'm such a fucking loser. I used to carry around a stopwatch. Yes, my friend Peter, my dear friend Peter, gave me this stopwatch with my initials engraved on the back as a token for me becoming a personal trainer. And as a homage to him, I carried it around for about a year and used it to sets, time rest periods, time people on conditioning machines. And it was really dumb because you can do that with a stopwatch or the stopwatch function on your app, on your watch or on your phone. And as a trainer, you're going to be carrying around a lot of things with you in the gym. You're going to be carrying a water bottle or a coffee. You might have a notebook. You might have a tablet to be, writing down people's weights and things and logging them. To carry around something so extraneous as a stopwatch in 2019 or whatever that was is so fucking idiotic. It makes me cringe. But I did it. I don't do it anymore, and I learned from it. So get yourself a Garmin, get yourself an Apple Watch. The stopwatch is the thing of the past. Number 3, speaking of things of the past, every session I used to do also started with my clients squeezing a hand dynamometer. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but dynamometer. If you don't know what that is, it's a little machine, not even a machine. It's a piece of plastic that's got a little LED screen on it. You squeeze the shit out of it as hard as you can, and it's a measure of grip strength. Now, as a good little trainer, what I was trying to do at the time that I had heard from somebody like Joe DeFranco was you were trying to get a gauge of what this client's recovery was based on their grip strength number. So when I first would start working with a client, we'd get a baseline grip strength. We'd measure it every single time they came in. And if it was, quite a bit lower than what their baseline was, we probably knew that maybe they didn't get the good night's sleep before, maybe they were drinking the night before, maybe they're not fully recovered. Now, in theory, this isn't a bad practice. It's actually very useful for athletes and high performers who might not be getting the sleep and recovery they need and might be overtraining. But for 99.9% of people, it's a giant waste of time. And it just kind of is a stupid way to start a training session. I thought I was doing something outside the box and cool, and it really was just a waste of time. So what do I do now? It's very simple. When they're on the air bike, I say, hey, how do you feel? Did you sleep well last night? Are you stressed at work? What's going on? And then I actually listen to what they have to say. And listen to their response. I listen to the way they're breathing on the bike. This is going to give me all the information I need about how hard to push them that day. I don't need a fucking tool. I don't need a grip strength monitor. It was dumb. I don't do it anymore. Number 4, I constantly told clients that I was full, or my roster was full, or that I was too busy. Now, why did I do this? Well, again, this comes back to a little bit of trainer insecurity, especially when at the beginning when I wasn't that full. I wanted to give the impression that I had a full book just to, let my clients know like, hey, I'm pretty busy. People like working with me. I must know what the fuck I'm talking about. That comes from a place of insecurity. Again, it's imposter syndrome. It's me not thinking I'm worthy. It's me not thinking I was doing a good enough job. And really what it does is it hamstrings you in the case where you do need clients, because after a while, my clients would come up to me and say, hey, I got this person who's asking to train with you. Like, do you have any spots? And, I might say, oh, I'm really busy right now, or, I just don't have any openings. And eventually they stopped telling me those things. They stopped saying they had a friend that wanted to train. And it became a little bit harder for me to get referrals. If you are a trainer, referrals are absolutely your best friend. It will sustain your book when things aren't going well and a client quits on you or whatever it is. You need referrals. So always, always, always say you are open to taking referrals. You're always open to meeting with new clients. Even if you don't have the space, take the meetings, take the consultations. You will thank me later. Number 5, I almost never included conditioning in client workouts. Now, this isn't because I necessarily didn't believe in conditioning. I definitely did. I always thought it was important, and I think it's even more important today. But my perspective was that in that hour training session, I want to focus on the things that are the most important and are going to move the needle the most. And for most people, that's going to be lifting weights, strength, and hypertrophy training. In reality, if your client will do the conditioning work on their own, this is great and this can work, but most of them won't. Most of them are not coming in to the gym a couple other times a week to work out. And if they do, they're probably just going to do some easy stuff, or they're going to lift weights, or they're going to do some things that are quote unquote fun. They're not going to do air bike sprints. They're not going to do, 30 minutes on the stair climber. So I decided to start building more of this into the workouts. I actually started every new client with a circuit-based training regimen because I wanted to see where their conditioning level was at and where we could improve. And I've started to sprinkle in more conditioning throughout the workouts. Could be sled pushes and pulls, could be skier, it could be the air bike. Just because I know these people probably aren't getting it on their own, and it's really fucking important. So if you can, sprinkle in conditioning. Everything is not just about lifting weights. You do need your ticker to work, and that will sustain you in the long run. Number 6. So my gym has an InBody. We can measure body fat. We can measure muscle mass. I used to use this way too frequently. I used to use it maybe every couple weeks with most clients. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but this can go sideways real quick for a couple reasons. One, the InBody is not super accurate, and it is very, very responsive to changes in liquid or fluid level. So if somebody takes a piss at the wrong time, if they drink a bottle of water at the wrong time, it's going to affect the InBody reading. That means it's just going to go up and down and fluctuate, and you can never really trust it. So when it's good, you don't feel that great about it. And when it's bad, you kind of go like, maybe this is not that important. So really what it is it's like taking a look at the stock market. If you zoom in really, really tight, every day the daily fluctuations are going to be up and down. But if you zoom out far and you look over the long run, the trend line is just slowly creeping up. That's what you want your clients' InBodies to look like. Don't let them do it too often, because they're going to get too much fluctuation, and the volatility, just like the stock market, is going to scare the shit out of them. So stay away from it. Don't do it that often. And when you do it, make sure you let them know this is an objective measure, but subjective measures matter as well. That means, how do your clothes fit? How do you feel? Are your strength numbers going up in the gym? Those things matter just as much as the InBody, if not more. And number 7 of the 7 dumbest things I've done as a personal trainer, I thought that my way was the way when it came to training. Now, what does that mean? Well, it first dawned on me when I actually did a session with my sister, who just wanted some tips on stuff she was doing in the gym. And I went through some of her technique, gave her some tips. And one of the things I told her was, you got to go a little bit slower and a little bit more range of motion if you want to maximize muscle growth and you want to get better bang for your buck in terms of what you're doing at the gym. She said, okay, great. And then I saw her a couple weeks later, and she had said, well, I was lifting the way you told me to lift, and I just, I had to lower the weight so much that, I don't know, it really made me feel shitty. So I just kind of stopped going to the gym. Okay, so that was the fucking dumb thing for me to say, right? I was just giving her my perspective on what lifting weights should be, but that's what my perspective is. And that's lifting with the best possible technique to drive the most muscle growth to get the best possible outcomes for your body. That might not be everybody's viewpoint of this. Maybe she just wants to feel good in the gym by throwing a lot of weight around with, not shitty technique, but not the best technique. That's cool. That's her prerogative. Your clients are going to be the same. Some of them might want to be, super muscular. Some of them just might want to be lean. Some of them just might want to be able to walk around without pain. Some of them don't even really care about results in the gym. They just like the hour what they get to get away from their kids or their family or their job, and they get to de-stress and they just get to talk to somebody else for an hour. That might be their reason why. And you need to respect that, because that's what puts them in the gym. And if that's what gets them in the gym, then that's what they got to do. Okay? Want to become a better trainer? Click the link below. 30 days, 30 ways to make you a better trainer. Hit subscribe.